Welcome to Cybergamer's very first esports review. My name's RJ and today we're going to be looking at Wolfenstein on the Xbox 360. But first, check out cybergamer.com.au. Just saw a preview of the website there. It's Australia's largest competitive esports community. We have ladders and leagues for both PC and Xbox 360, so join up and play today against Australia's best players and teams in games such as Call of Duty, Halo Wars, Halo 3, Gears of War. Got a lot of games on there. So let's get into today's game. Made by id Software, who are also responsible for Quake, Quake 2, Quake 3, Quake 4, Quake Live, Enemy Territory, Rage and Doom, and of course Wolfenstein. Quake, the whole Quake series has been extremely competitive, so you'd expect them to come in with that experience and make a quality multiplayer game here. The single player element of the game was made by Raven Studios specifically, and Endurance Studios are responsible for the multiplayer. So we're really going to drill Endurance Studios here because this is an esports review and this is all about competitive gaming and how suitable this game is for competitive gaming. So we're looking at the multiplayer features. And right from the start, this is not a very satisfying multiplayer experience. But we're going to be trying to be constructive about it, and we're going to talk about it from a competitive element, and we're going to look at some of the ways they could have improved it. Hopefully some other game studios will take note. Alright, so let's launch into the multiplayer. You'll see the pretty standard features. You've got a quick match and create a match. You've got 8 maps to choose from. They're all pretty... they're not bad maps. Not too bad. As for game modes, there's not a lot of game modes. You've got objective, stopwatch and TDM. So your TDM is pretty standard. Your objective is you got to go collect something and take it back. It's sort of like similar to one flag captured the flag, but you have to use your engineers to build things along the way to get through certain parts of the level. Your multiplayer lobby is pretty standard. You've got the ping bars, though, are extremely hard to see, which is pretty painful at times. And we're going to launch up a game. Another problem with this game, you can't host. I could only host 8 players on my connection, and I have a pretty decent connection. 20 megabit down, 1 megabit up. I thought I'd expect I'd be able to host most games. Turns out this isn't one of them. It's a bit of a pain. You'll see you choose your classes and your team. It's a bit similar to sort of like Team Fortress Classic. You've got the different classes, but then you have there's only 5 weapons to choose from. You've got your MP40, your Kar98, MP43, your Panzer Strike, and your flamethrower. It's basically a submachine gun, sniper rifle, heavier machine gun, rocket launcher, and your flamethrower, which is, no one really likes flamethrower, it's a bit lame. Well, in competitive game, of course. So we'll get through them. You can select all of the weapons with the soldier, which is your only really attack class, and the other 2 can only have the MP40 or the Kar98. You've then got a few perks to choose from. You've got one for your gun, which is either more bullets, scope, or less recoil. Then you've got the general perks, which are straight away very similar to Call of Duty. You've got some extra armor, you recharge your power quicker, or you get a grenade. Your strike, which is sort of like your special power. You can upgrade that sort of thing, and your satchel pack, which is the unique ability of the soldier. You throw a little C4 satchel pack. For the medic, instead, he throws health packs, and the engineer throws ammo packs. And you run out of ammo pretty quickly in this game, so engineers come into it quite a bit. Although there's never really an engineer around to give you any ammo, so you just die or kill some guys and pick up some ammo. So all these unlocks are purchased with money that you get from getting kills and completing objectives in the multiplayer mode. So let's talk about some of the things that are actually good about this game. When you fire from the hip, as you can see on screen at the moment, it's the accuracy is pretty good. It's not like COD where you have to look down the sight to take any shot that is worth taking, which is something I think is missing from a lot of first-person shooters, especially on the Xbox. It's missing that element of, reactions and flick shots and that kind of thing at close range, which is not as easy to do on the Xbox controller as it is to do with the mouse and keyboard, but it's pretty important, and I think there should be a bit more of that in Xbox 360 games. You can obviously use the scope in this, or look down the sight to take a well-timed shot with increased sensitivity and increased accuracy. So it's got both things going on here. I think that's really good. Another good element of this game is the jumping and the movement. It's very fluid, and when you jump and you land, you don't get slowed down like you do in, say, Call of Duty. That's one thing I think that's been missing from a lot of first-person shooters lately, like the old Quake 2, Quake 3, very movement-based, and even Quake 4. But and especially when they ported it over to the Xbox 360, a lot of those the movement-based skills seem to get lost. I think that's a bit unfortunate. I think it takes out a bit of an important element of first-person shooters. They become a bit of a run-and-gun title, which doesn't do anything for the competitive element of the game. So basically, what lets this game down is it's very limited. There's no depth to this game. There's very few perks. There's very few weapons. There's very few classes. So there's not much to it really. The multiplayer online is terrible. The gameplay, the netcode is so bad that you can barely move once you go off host. The host advantage is huge. Even playing in Australia with other Australian players off host, it feels terrible. It just seems to feel exactly the same when you're playing with Americans as opposed to Australians. The lag is just terrible. Another thing is the fact that it wouldn't even let me host a full game. I've got a pretty good connection, 20 megabit down, 1 megabit up, and it said I could only host 8 people. Not only that, it hard capped my room at 8 players, so there was no possibility of hosting any more. Which really points to the fact that they really needed dedicated servers for this game. But like so many game companies on the Xbox 360, they didn't provide them, which is painful. It's getting annoying. So with only 8 maps, 3 game modes, and very limited options to customize things in private matches, this game really doesn't offer a lot to the first-person shooter genre, which is already flooded with some good titles, and there's plenty of opportunity to improve, but this game just really hasn't taken the time to do any of that. It's also disappointing to see that the developers started axing stuff the day this came out, which obviously shows they got no support for the game after it's been released. Most games need patching. This game certainly needs patching. It's in a fairly early stage, beta stage might even be at the moment, and yeah, it's very disappointing that they're certainly not going to be following this up with patches over Xbox Live to fix what is half a game really. One final gripe about this game is that the sniper rifle isn't one-shot kill, and a game like this where it's not trying to be extremely realistic has the potential to be more competitive and make the game really balanced. They really haven't even bothered to do that, so it's disappointing to see as well. So just watch a bit of the footage. You can have a look at the game. This is all played on host in Australia, and it certainly isn't as good on host. It's horrible to play, in fact. And you can see a nice scoreboard there, 19 kills, 2 deaths. You can also see that all of my teammates have only 1 bar, yet they're all Australians. That's I guess that's one of the points I was trying to make. This game really doesn't play well online. So that's all we've got in our first esports review from Cybergamer. Don't forget to check out www.cybergamer.com.au, subscribe to the YouTube channel and sign up to the ladders and get involved in Australia's biggest esports community.